Okay, so today we'll be training quads together, and it has been a clusterfuck of a morning. I've just driven back to my home and to the gym 3 times because I forgot something, and then I forgot something else, ADHD ran, and then my photographer and I, we were supposed to meet at the gym, but we had a little bit of miscommunication, which was my fault. And yeah, so I'm just gonna be filming by myself today, and I also couldn't find my mic, so I'm gonna have to do a voiceover. So we are gonna be training quads. It's my first session back after an entire week off from the gym. It was a very necessary week, but it wasn't even deload. It was like my training was just giving me the ick, and I had to take a massive break, but I'm reinvigorated to get back into it now. Let's go. First, I'm starting with my favorite pre, which is Impel by Axel Labs, and I'm adding some carbs into my shaker for some intra-workout energy, and I spilled it everywhere. Definitely rocking the leopard print today, feeling like a bit of a cougar. So first we're moving into some warm-ups and mobility drills. These are going to be very individual to everyone and what you need. I'm personally just like a ball of tightness because I'm an online coach. So I am tight everywhere, and I just find if I don't do my warm-ups and activations, then I just don't target the muscles I want to, and you're more prone to injury. So I am specifically just trying to lengthen my pecs and do some hip mobility work so that the exercises are a little bit easier to perform. But without that being said, you should definitely be performing at least 1 to 2 sets of your movements, especially with your compounds, before you start the set. So I did take an entire week off from the gym, which was an absolute blessing in disguise. And I really did try and push through with my training when I wasn't feeling it. But honestly, like, it was at the point where I was just getting such an ick by my workouts, and I just really didn't want to be there. And normally it's a motivation issue for most people, but I was also very fried neurologically from a really heavy block of training. And I think if you do train with intensity, you just can't do that year round. It's absolutely not sustainable. So it can be very necessary to even take an entire week off the gym. I cannot remember the last time I did that. It was probably a year ago when I was on holidays, but even then I do try and find a way to train because I just love it. But you know, something's definitely off when you normally really enjoy your workouts and the gym, but you just kind of start hating it for a couple of sessions, and that can definitely be a good sign that it is time to take a deload. So I'm just doing some banded tempo squats here, which are one of my favorite warm-ups pre-gym because they warm up your hips and your core at the same time. And I'm jumping first into leg extensions. So what I'm doing here is I'm just strapping the mat to my leg extension machine, and this is a really great way to increase the range of motion on your leg extension, which is really important if your goal is hypertrophy. If you're not recording your sets and your reps and just your progress in general, you're definitely missing out on some low-hanging fruit. And I think it's silly. So if you're not recording it, no wonder you are feeling quite unmotivated with the gym if you don't know where you're going, if you don't know whether you're progressing, because, you know, there's a difference between exercise and training. We have got a goal in mind, we've got a purpose, and we're heading in a direction versus just, you know, maintenance and getting fit. You know, we're specialized athletes, not just, you know, gen pop exercising. So record your training if you want specific, measurable and objective results. as of lately, I have been messing around with different gyms. I have joined up to another one, so now I have 3 memberships, which has been a fun change up. But now we're heading to a Watson machine reverse lunge, which is one of the OGs. So after you get back from a week off from the gym or a deload, what intensity should you be training at? And should you continue, to hit the same weights as pre-deload, or should you take them down a bit? Well, it's quite individual, but personally, I find that if I go back to the same intensity I was using and try and hit the same weights pre-deload, a lot of the time it can prolong that recovery, and now intensity is really subjective. So one person's idea of training at 80% could be another's of 50%. With myself, if I am just being cautious of not to end up in another recovery pool needing to deload longer, I will just normally do 1 set instead of 2 for the first week or the first 4 days, but still go all out on that set instead of like 2 or 3 sets for my compounds. It's honestly been a while since I've done this exercise. I recently just started coaching myself and created my own training program, which has surprisingly been going really well. And another thing that can really help you if you're starting to get the ick towards the gym is a new training program. I, coach my clients as well, and I do find that with them, running a program for too long, it is optimal to take an exercise to the max, but the program that you enjoy and look forward to is going to get you the best results and make you train with more intensity. So it can be an important factor in needing to at least change up the exercises for a bit of variety if you've been on the same split for a long time. For quads lately, I've absolutely been vibing a machine toe press, which is basically a leg press, but we have our feet quite low and typically our heels are off the bottom of the machine. Now, if you have knee issues, this definitely is not a good idea. You probably don't want to perform any exercise with excessive knee flexion under heavy load, but if you don't, then it should be okay. The Watson machine is honestly really humbling, but I do like it compared to other machines because it allows a greater depth and range of motion, whereas some just like bottom out at the bottom and it's really annoying. You can also add in a pad to the seat to increase the range of motion, and that is great as well. But I have been loving this one lately and giving it a go. Especially with the knee sleeves, it makes them feel so fucking strong. this was definitely one of those sets that make you question your entire life, and afterwards you usually end up seeing white and hearing nothing. Or maybe that's just me. But yeah, that was a brutal set. Definitely needed a minute to calm down from that. In terms of your rest breaks, if you do have massive compounds like a leg press with a lower rep range, you are going to need to take a lot longer rest breaks than, say, your isolations. For our last exercise of the entire workout, it is actually a superset that will fuck up your quads really badly. So in a good way. This is a drop set of, not a drop set, dumbbell walking drop lunges. And we're supersetting them with sissy squats, body weight. And trust me when I say it is the strongest metabolic pump you will ever feel. So what I'm doing is I'm doing an M-rep set. So as many reps as I can fucking do at a weight that is like maybe an 8 to 12 rep range. And by that, I don't mean stop there. I mean like your failure point should be, 8 to 12. That's how heavy the way you want to choose is. And we're supersetting that with a bodyweight sissy squat. And I'm using a Smith machine rack or a barbell rack you can use as well, just for some added support. And you can really go ham on these. So I've been in my surplus for about 8 months now, and it's definitely been an eye-opener. I have been quite challenged, quite uncomfortable with the way I am looking, just like seeing myself at a fluffier size, but I do really enjoy being stronger, feeling stronger, having, hormones kind of returning back to normal. It's a lot of positives. So next we're moving into some upper body. Just to finish off the workout, I'm just doing 2 exercises, a overhead shoulder press, converging machine, and then we've got a lateral raise. This variation of a lateral I've been so obsessed with lately. So this is an incline cable Y raise, which not a lot of people are very comfortable performing, but honestly, it is so much nicer than just a dumbbell lateral. The advantage of cables is that we can maintain tension across the specific muscle we're targeting most of the way, pretty much 100% of the way. We can maintain constant tension, whereas, dumbbells, there is a point to where, at the top we have the most tension, typically with a lateral raise, and then it, goes down as you go through the movement. So really only maybe 30% of the movement you are applying max tension to the muscle. But with cables, they're challenged throughout the entire range. So basically they can be a better stimulus. I also love these because naturally gravity isn't pushing you forward the same way a standing lateral is. So it can be great if you have a tendency for your traps to take over, to avoid that.